What's up guys, welcome to the tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create this dripping paint text effect on a grunge wall, complete with dust particles and cinematic light rays. Let's dive right in. Alright guys, let's get started. Let's create a new comp, name it main comp, whatever you want. I have got some destroyed wall textures. Let's bring it in and scale it down, position it. Let's go ahead and add curves effect. Bring the brightness down a little bit. Now let's type in the text. I'm going to type in end width. You can type in whatever you want. Center it. Change the color to white. And let's pre-compose this layer. Call it text, title, whatever you want. Now let's duplicate the texture layer and bring it above. And change the title layer track matte to the texture layer and turn on the luma matte option. Now let's reset this curve on the texture and adjust the brightness. Depending on your texture, colors, brightness, you might need to experiment with this title blend modes. To check the blend modes faster, hold shift and click the plus key above the main keyboard, not the one on the numeric keyboard. For this texture, I think mine looks better with the normal mode, so I will leave it in the normal. Let's add some distortions. Let's go to Stylize, CC Glass, and select the texture 1 and source to effects and masks. Change the displacement a little bit. Go to Effect, Distort, Displacement Map, and select the texture again. Change the horizontal and vertical. These values totally depends on your texture. Let's add one more effect. Let's go to Stylize, Roughen Edges, and change these values to 25. Bring the complexity all the way up. And one more effect, Distort, Liquify. Let's drag these corners or the edges. Bring this down. Drag the next and keep on doing this for all the text. We want to make it look like the paint is kind of dripping. Let's go to the D. That looks good. Alright, I think this will do. Now nothing is gonna happen. You have to create a keyframe on this distort mesh. Press U and drag this keyframe all the way to the end. Right click, reset. Now let's preview. As you can see, it looks like it's dripping. Alright, now it's time to add extra details. Let's create a new layer. Solid. Let's call it light rays. Hit OK. Right click, pre-compose. Hit OK. Let's go inside the comp. Go to Effect, Noise and Grain, Fractal Noise. And let's adjust these settings. Let's give it a 390 and this one -40. Let's go to Transform, uncheck the uniform scaling, adjust the height. I think we don't need to mess around with the width. It's okay. Now hold Alt and click. Type in time times 80. Alright, this looks good for now. We can come back and adjust the settings later. Let's make this layer 3D and select this orbit tool, hold shift and tilt it this way, and select dolly in tool and kind of zoom in. Again, select the orbit tool, kind of tilt it again, hold shift while doing that. That looks good. Go to the main comp, change the transform mode to overlay. This looks okay, but we need to change some settings. So let's go inside the comp, go to subscaling and change it to 85 maybe. Let's go ahead and take a look. Not bad, but it's too dark, the shadows. So let's go ahead and turn the opacity down. Something like 50, 60 something. This looks okay. Now it's time to create some dust particles. Let's go ahead and create layer new, solid, call it particles. Okay, go to effect, simulation, particle world. Let's turn off all these and solo this layer to make the render a little bit faster. Turn gravity all the way to 0. And now let's go to producer, expand the axis, and now the Y a little bit more, and the Z a little bit. Change the particle type to faded sphere, colors to white, both, birth rate to 90, and the longevity to 5. This is a lot of particles. Let's change some settings here now. Let's bring this part size all the way to 0 and this to a very lower number. Like you can barely see this dust particles. Let's experiment with the inherent velocity. And let's change this mode, animation. This looks too extreme. I don't think it's gonna work. Let's try velocity. Maybe lower it down. 0.1. Doesn't look that good. Doesn't look like dust. Let's change it to explosion. Doesn't look good either. Let's try the velocity again. Nope, I don't think it looks good. Now it's time to experiment and see what looks good. Let's try this gravity XYZ. It's not working. No, nothing's happening like dust. Guys, I need some help here. Let's mess around with the opacity map. Let's create these kind of lines. That's too big. Let's cover it again, and these kind of lines will create those shimmering particles. So create as many as you can. Now you can see a little bit of flicker in these particles. That looks okay, but we can create more variations. Let's try creating more lines. Maybe that's too big. Okay, let's create bigger gaps. kind of wide. That looks much better. As you can see, the particles are kind of shimmering, flickering. Let's try this animation preset. Let's choose cone axis. Oh yeah, this looks much better. This looks like particles floating upward. So let's change the velocity. I think it's too fast still. Let's try a lower number. 0.1. This looks good, I think. Yeah, this looks perfect. I think this will work. Let's try an even lower number. Oh no, this is not working at all. Okay, let's go back. Maybe let's do 0.08. Alright, this looks perfect. I think this is good enough. Now let's set the particle layers track matte to the light rays comp. That way it will only show the particles in the lighter area. Let's turn this on and check this luma matte. Turn on the solo there. Now these two layers will be only showing. Now you can see only the brighter areas will show up those particles, but the darker areas you cannot see any particles. As you can see, there's no particles in the darker area. Let's unsolo this. Let's quickly make a preview and see how it looks. As you can see, the particles are only showing up in the brighter areas because we set the track matte to the luma matte, which looks great. Alright guys, now it's time to add some noise. Go to layer, new adjustment layer, and call it noise. Go to effect, noise, select noise, and give it maybe like 15. Think this looks good. Now let's create a vignette. Layer, new, solid, make it black, and select the ellipse. Double click, invert the layer, turn the feather all the way up, and make the opacity a little bit down like this. Also, let's turn down this light rays opacity a little bit more. Okay, that looks much better. Now let's create a camera to create the zoom in effect. Let's go to new camera. Okay, go to control zoom, create a keyframe, drag it all the way down there. Try to zoom in. Oh, first of all, we need to make the layers 3D. Okay, let's make all these background layers like the texture, light rays, and the text. Let's bring in this noise layer. Let's create a keyframe here and then zoom in. Let's bring this keyframe all the way to the end and right click, reset. Let's preview. Oh, it looks like we forgot to turn the 3D switch on the texture layer. So let's stop this and go ahead and turn that layer to 3D. And let's preview again. There you go. It's perfect now. I think we should also bring this noise layer and make it 3D, the way it will move with the camera movements. Let's make it 3D. Okay. Now it's time to create a camera shake. So let's go create a new adjustment layer. Call it shake. Let's say cam shake. Go to effect, stylize, motion tile. Now I'll click tile center and type wiggle 1,25. To fix these edges, you have to click on mirror edges. Click on mirror edges and it will fix that problem. Let's make a quick preview. You can see it looks great. And that's it for this tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you have any questions. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.